For 40 years, pretty much our entire lives, the advice on what we should eat has been the same. But what if I told you that basically overnight, that entire model just got flipped on its head? And I'm not talking about some small tweak here. This is a massive, historic shift in our official dietary guidelines.
I mean, for as long as most of us can remember, right? The food pyramid has been the guide for healthy eating. And what was at the bottom? What was the foundation? Grains. Just tons and tons of grains. This is the stuff we were all taught in school. It's what they used in hospitals. You probably had one posted on your fridge at home.
Well, in a move that I think shocked just about everybody, that pyramid, it's been completely flipped upside down. The thing that was the foundation of our diet for 40 decades is no longer the base. Seriously, this isn't just some minor adjustment. It's a full-on dietary revolution.
Okay, so what does this flip actually mean for us, in the real world? The implications here they're huge. We're talking about reshaping everything from school lunches and hospital food all the way to what they serve in the military. The entire food supply chain might have to change. So, let's dig into how we even got to this point.
And when you look at this timeline, you can really see just how long this idea has been drilled into us. I mean, from the 80s, then to that classic pyramid from 1992 that we all know, and even the newer My Plate from 2011, the message never really changed. It was always carbs are the foundation. We're talking 6 to 11 servings of grains every single day. Wild.
All right, so what does this mean for what you actually put on your plate? Let's break down the big differences between the old rules and these new, kind of radical guidelines.
Yeah, this chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? The old way was all about quantity. Eat a ton of carbs, stay away from fat, and just focus on that simple calories in, calories out idea. But the new way? It's all about quality. It puts ultra-processed foods right in the crosshairs. It tells us to focus on real food. And this is a big one. It seriously bumps up the amount of high-quality protein we should be eating.
Okay, let's just focus on protein for a second. Under the old rules, if you were, say, a 180-pound person, the recommendation was about 65 grams a day.
And the new guidelines? Get this. For that same person, they're now recommending up to 131 grams. That is literally double the old amount. This is such a huge change, and it could have some pretty incredible benefits for everything from our hormones to our biochemistry. And this whole focus on quality brings us to the new bad guy in our nutritional story. For the first time, the guidelines aren't pointing the finger at fat or cholesterol. No, they're going after a different enemy, the one that's been hiding in plain sight: ultra-processed foods.
Yeah, the source material points to this really powerful statement. It says they, quote, now directly targeted ultra-processed foods as being the primary driver of 90% of chronic disease. Whoa. So after decades of basically ignoring it, the guidelines are finally saying, out loud, that things like obesity and type 2 diabetes are directly linked to these foods. The silence is officially broken.
But this brings up a really interesting, kind of fundamental question, right? If we're going to talk about ultra-processed food, don't we first have to agree on what food even is in the first place? Well, check this out. According to the source, the legal definition of food we use is shockingly simple. It's basically just something that's edible and has a shelf life. That's it. Did you catch what's missing there? Yeah, anything about nourishment or health or, what it actually does for your body?
Okay, now let's compare that to the biological definition of food. Something you eat to sustain life, promote growth, and repair tissues. The source makes this great point. If we actually used that definition, a whole lot of stuff on our supermarket shelves wouldn't even legally be food anymore. Just think about that for a second. So look, this is obviously a massive step in the right direction, no question. But the source also raises a really important critique. As good as this is, does it actually go far enough? Are there still some really critical pieces of the puzzle missing that might stop these guidelines from actually reversing chronic disease? So it seems there are 4 big things that got left out. And the argument is that, yeah, the new plan is great for preventing problems, but it might not be enough for the millions of people already struggling with these issues. So let's take a look at what they say is missing. Okay, the single biggest missing piece, according to the source, is insulin resistance. It's not mentioned at all, and this is a huge deal because it's seen as the true root cause of most chronic diseases. So why ignore it? Well, the theory is it's because the old guidelines, the ones that told us to eat 6 to 11 servings of carbs a day, caused insulin resistance. And admitting that now would be, well, pretty embarrassing, wouldn't it? And the other missing things are just as important. For one, the guidelines say nothing about how often we eat. even though we know constant snacking keeps insulin high. They're also still holding on to this disputed cap on saturated fat. And get this, they don't call out industrial starches by name. We're talking about hidden sugars like maltodextrin that are in everything from salad dressings to snacks. And that stuff can spike your blood sugar even worse than regular table sugar.
So that's where we're at. And it leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? Is this a revolutionary step forward that's going to change the health of the country for the better? Or is it maybe just a partial win that, by not talking about the root cause like insulin resistance, kind of misses the point? I'd love to know what you think.